Hello, hello, hello again. Look who's here. Maxine Phillips McKoy, your host for Life Strategies. Come on in, come on in. Let me know that you are here. I'm going to be checking to see who is letting me know they're here and where are you coming in from? What country? What city? What town? What state? Come on in, come on in. Now is the time for us to talk about life strategies. Life strategies. Do I have a treat for you this evening? It is going to be me and you talking about life strategies. I'm going to be sharing stories with you about my upbringing and the strategies that I use to put in place for myself. And then I'm going to be testing the pulse. I want to test your temperature. I want to see where you are in your career, in your profession, in your life. That's right. And this is a two-way dialogue. I know right now it appears as though I'm just talking to you, but I want you to talk back to me by putting your comments in the comment section. Chat with me. Ask questions. Let me know what's on your mind. That's right. What's on your mind? So we have this evening, we're going to be together. And I want you to invite family, friends, co-workers, neighbors. Go on. Tell them about the life strategies. Get pen and paper ready. I want you to be able to take notes because you just never know what question I will ask. And there very could be a surprise around the corner by you answering the question. So we always have an element of surprise on this show for you. That's correct. So let me check to see who do we have chiming in right now. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're here. Let me see. Do I have anybody letting me know? Lisa Green. Nina, so glad to have you with me this evening. This is awesome. Hey, have a watch party. Let individuals know that you are here and that Life Strategies with Maxine, the show, the one that you get the platinum nuggets. We go beyond the golden. We start dropping platinum nuggets. So what I want to do this evening is I want to share a little bit of information about what has kept me going to become the level-less woman that I am, because I, as a little girl, decided that with the achievement mindset that I have, that nothing and no one would stop me from achieving the goals that I put in place for myself. And that's what you can do as well. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about my background. And I want to ask you questions about some things that you could be encountering. And I want to also give you some strategies that you can be using along the way. You know, if nothing else, COVID has taught us so many different things about making sure that we have goals for ourselves and strategies that we put in place and that we are doing things that we love to do. That's right, that we love to do. Because I launched Levelless in the midst of the pandemic, and it was in November of 2020, Thanksgiving Day, mind you, that I launched Levelless. And what is Levelless? Levelless is about removing all levels. You no longer have to compete against yourself or compete with anyone else. It's a mind shift. It's a movement. It's a community of individuals inspiring individuals, women inspiring women, men inspiring men, children inspiring each other, and parents encouraging their children. That's what Levelless is all about. So how did I get started on this journey? Well, as that little girl, about the age of 11, I journaled. And journaling is a tool that I want you to write down right now. Start journaling. So join me in the journaling movement so that you can start recording all the great ideas that are coming to you. So by me journaling, what happened with that? I started writing my goals. So how many of you write your goals? How many are you journaling right now? If that's you, put in the chat box, I journal. That's right. Put in the chat box and let me know that you're journaling as well. But in journaling, what I found was the fact that every time I wrote my goal, I would accomplish it. That's right. Because once I wrote the goal, I found myself writing instructions on how to complete the goal. The more I did, the more I accomplished. And this has followed me the rest of my life since the age of 11. Since the age of 11. But the other thing that I did as a life strategy is I would ask questions, question after question after question. Are you one to ask questions? If so, put in the chat. I ask questions. You know, we always hear there's no such thing as a dumb question. And that's true because it has an answer. And someone else very well might want to know that same answer. They just did not ask the question. But my questioning was always, what are you doing? And how are you doing it? I wanted to know the what and the how. I'm not necessarily a why person. Why are you doing it? Now, I know my why in life, why I do what I do, why I'm a career coach, why I'm a global strategist, why I'm a process improvement, why do I do team development, and why do I even do one-on-one coaching to help individuals move forward in their life? I know the why behind it because it's my calling. It's my purpose. This is what I'm commissioned to do. And I absolutely love it. So how many of you know your purpose? If you know it, put it in the chat box. Let me know what your purpose is. Let me know what you have identified as your purpose, because that's so critical to life, that you know exactly why you're here on this earth. That's right. Why are you here on this earth? You need to know that so that you're walking in your purpose. And so I've been walking in my purpose ever since the age of 11, because I've always found myself wanting to help individuals become better and better and better at what they do. Even as a little girl, I would ask my sisters and brothers to play with me, right? Oh, majority of the time you thought it's going to be doctor or lawyer, but no, not Maxine. Maxine wanted to play school, and Maxine wanted to be the school teacher. But when I was a school teacher, what was important to me is that I had assignments for them. But whatever they did on those assignments, I would always encourage them. It was always affirmations. It was always positive thinking. And I would always create an award for them, some kind of certificate that they received after they played school with me. And to this day, it's the same thing. I am about encouraging individuals, helping you to move forward in your purpose, to know what it is that you are called to do. So that's a tool that you can use, is questioning. But ask open-ended questions. How? What? Where? Help me to understand. And it allows them to elaborate and give you more details. So yes, even today, I ask tons and tons of questions. And I tell individuals when they first get to know me, don't be offended, because I will ask you question after question after question, because it's the curiosity in me. Oh, my mother used to call me nosy. And I said, Mom, I'm not nosy. I'm just observant. Benjamin says, amen to that. That's right, Benjamin. Are you one of those that ask questions? Let me know. And if so, put a question in the chat box and let me know how I can assist you. And so question is an awesome way of having that tool in your tool belt so that you can always get those answers. And don't be afraid to ask the question, because I guarantee you someone else want to know that same answer. All right, so we talked about journaling as a tool, and journaling helps you to refresh, reevaluate, repurpose, and journaling also can help you to write your ideas down and write the instructions around them so that, when they say write them plain, make the plan and make it plain. So those who can read it and understand your vision can help you move forward. And then we have the questioning as another tool. All right. So as that little girl and being curious, and then here I am, a teenager. Now, I'm not the status quo type person. I wanted to go to college right out of high school, but I felt that my family could not afford it because I'm the 8th of 12 children. Well, little did I know we actually could have afforded it because of the amount of children that were in the family. But the one thing I want to bring to your attention about the large family is that my mother and my father, neither one of my parents completed high school. They never graduated with a diploma. And that's because life happens. Life happens. Yes, thank you, Kiel. So proud of you. Oh, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm proud of so many other people who have had the same challenges as myself, that their parents may not have graduated from high school. But what I learned from my parents was so valuable. And what I learned was the fact that they had God-given abilities that no, they did not go to school for, but they were born with. They were born with. So I'm going to say to you, when you have the breath of life, when you received that breath of life, you received your unique abilities. And I had them as well. My father only went to the third grade, because he had to stop school in order to help his family farm and live. My mother went to the 11th grade. Now listen, when you have your natural or innate or God-given abilities, however you want to define them, no one can stop you from using them. My father, although he went to the third grade, he was a carpenter. He was an electrician. He was a mechanic. And his profession was a coal miner. A coal miner for 37 years. But when I talk about natural abilities or innate abilities, I want you to take a moment right now and I want you to think about, what do you have that you were born with that you know you can do? I mean, just like that you can do in your sleep. I want you to name it and I want you to claim it, because this is part of you. This is what makes you unique. We all have this uniqueness about ourselves, and it's so important that you understand it and our students understand it as early as possible in life so that they can be on that and navigate their journey according to what they're already gifted at doing. Now, my mother, 11th grade, she was a poet. She wrote stories. She too journaled, and she journaled about every single one of her pregnancies. And she ended up giving birth. She had 13 pregnancies, but gave birth to 12, which means she miscarried one. I'm the 8th of those 12. 8th means what? You know, come on, put it in the chat. What does 8 mean? New beginnings. That's right, new beginnings. So my mother had a new beginning when she had me. But what she did for me is that because she wrote, she journaled, and I did not even know it until probably about 6 months before she actually left this earth. I found out about it in 2012, and she died in 2013. But oh, the journal that she wrote, it was so powerful. And that's why it's important that you journal, because you leave legacies when you journal. My mother journaled and wrote about every single one of those pregnancies that I just mentioned to you. That's right. And when she wrote about me and I read it, she said, I was named after a nurse. Her nurse in the hospital was named Maxine. This woman was a servant leader. She helped deliver 8 of my mother's babies. And the 8th one, my mother honored her by giving me her name, a servant leader. That's who I am to this day, still a servant leader. My middle name is Pearl, as you can see above my head. And Pearl, we all know that you dive deep, deep, deep. And you know a pearl must go through what? Grit and grind. All the things that happen, the challenges, the turmoil, right? The imperfections in order to become the jewel. And I always say the jewel that I am. And that pearl is the name given to me at Pearl was from a woman in the community. The community, mind you. So we talk about having a tribe. My mother even had a tribe. The women in the community, and this woman by the name of Pearl was the one that would come to the house and help my mother understand how to take care of those babies, each one of them as she gave birth to them. She not only helped my mother, but she helped other women in the community. Miss Pearl is what they called her. Now, I'm named after another servant leader. So is this making any sense to you right now as to why my heart is so open to help individuals to become their personal best? Is it making sense to you right now that my name consists of 2 servant leaders? Does it make sense to you right now that I have no other choice but to be in the ministry that I'm in, to be moving forward in the calling that's on my life, to ensure that I help those who want to be helped to do and continue to move on their journey? That's what Maxine Pearl does. Now, the Phillips and the McKoy are the married names. Now, I said names. That's right, 2 married names. We'll talk about that Phillips and the McKoy a little bit later. But it's important that you understand who you are from your core. And by me understanding those 2 women playing a part in my mother's life, it helps me to understand the importance of mentoring. So mentoring is another tool that you can use. Mentoring is something that you can mentor others and others can mentor you. I have a mentor, I have a business coach, and I have a sponsor. And you need more than one mentor, and you can definitely have more than one business coach. So I want to ask you right now, do you mentor? Have you even given thought to mentoring? And are there individuals in your community, in your church, at your job, those who you surround yourself with, that you could be a mentor and you can bring them along aside and help them with the knowledge that you have, those unique abilities I just talked about? And do you need to be mentored? And if so, now is the time to start writing down who could be or who could serve as a mentor. Your mentor. Same thing as a business coach. You need coaches. It could be a financial coach. It could be a business coach. It could be a career coach. It could be a spiritual coach. So there are so many different type of coaches. But write down right now one or two individual names that you know of that would serve you well by them being your coach or your mentor. How is this working? Any questions? Let me check. Let me check to see if we have any questions. I want to make sure that I can see and I can help and I can answer. All right, let me see. Let me see. What we got going on here? All right. Not totally seeing any yet. Come on, put some questions in the chat box and let me know what questions you have, or let me know if you've encountered some of these things that I'm talking about this evening. That's right, that I'm talking about this evening. These are some great nuggets that I'm dropping. And I want to make sure that I'm able to assist you along your journey. Let's see. All right. No comments yet. All right. So as I continue to go and talk about me and the journey in which I'm on, there's a point in life that if you're not careful, you can allow someone to steal your joy. So let me tell you a story about what happened to me. Here I am sitting in my manager's office, and I am being reviewed on my performance, the annual performance review that we get every year. Right. I am happy. I'm happy because I am rated outstanding. So you know what happens to the mind, right? If you're rated outstanding, you feel like, should be some MONEY somewhere with that outstanding rating. But that's not guaranteed, because the next words out of my manager's mouth was, you would never be promoted without a degree. Did you hear what I just said? You would never be promoted without a degree. So let me ask you a couple questions, because I want to test the pulse right now. How many of you have been overlooked for promotions? If that's you, I want you to put in the chat, overlooked. How many of you have felt undervalued in working in a project, working on a team, working in a particular corporation? If that's you, put in the chat, undervalued. How many of you have felt unappreciated? Regardless to what you've been doing, how you've been doing it, the way you've been doing it, you've been doing outstanding work, but yet you feel unappreciated. If that's you, then put unappreciated. And how many of you are on a team, but you feel like you don't belong? You feel out of place. If that's you, put out of place. And how many of you are working in a profession and you know that it has not brought you the fulfillment? It has not added happiness. It has not rendered those achievements and awards or rewards that you were looking for. If that's you, put career change. Now, all these questions I just ask of you, I have felt every single one of those emotions. Because if I can get back to the manager who told me that you would never be promoted without a degree, But I'm rated outstanding, mind you. I'm being told you're rated outstanding. I'm happy. But in the same breath, you're told, but you would never be promoted without a degree. Oh, I know I'm not alone. I know there's some of you out there who've also felt the same way and who've heard those same words. But let me tell you, oh, a change is going to come. I left out of that office feeling unworthy, undervalued, underappreciated. But I went home, and on the drive home, I had this awakening. And you too can have this awakening, because I evaluated what I had done to deserve the outstanding rating. Now, the outstanding rating was given because I led an entire department, the department within marketing, that anyone who wanted to do business with this particular organization had to come through this department that I was the leader of. And we managed it, and we managed it well. Now, listen, the reason why I ended up getting rejuvenated behind that statement that really took the breath out of me is because I have and I know my innate abilities. I know Maxine from the core. I know what Maxine is made of. And that's what I want you to know as well. Because when I evaluated what I had done, I had sacrificed and worked 80-hour plus a week. I had sacrificed coming in on weekends and neglecting my family for the job. I had evaluated the fact that my department, under my direction, under my leadership, under my process improvement, under my innate abilities, that I put programs and processes in place that help this department to render $12 million budget, and they met their goals. We did that under my leadership. So it's important that you know what your capabilities are. It's important that you know what you are made up of. It's important that you know yourself from your core, so you would not allow individuals to remove that joy from you. Oh, it did for a moment. But after I reevaluated and said, wait a minute, I have innate abilities. I have these abilities that I was born with. It did not take a degree for me to use those abilities in order for us to help this department to make sure that they met the $12 million goal. It didn't take a degree. What it took was me using my God-given abilities, me using them daily. So I say to you, I want you to evaluate, what are your innate abilities? What are your natural gifts? How are you using them? What achievements are you doing? Because Levelless is all about continue to achieve success on your own terms. Levelless is about knowing your worth. Levelless is about knowing how to advocate for yourself. And Levelless is about knowing you, because only you can be you. Only you can be you. One of the other tools that I offer is called an assessment. It is an ability assessment. That's right, an ability assessment. This ability assessment helps you to discover, it helps you to identify, or it helps you to confirm those innate abilities. Oh, when I work with students and I give them feedback and the parents are sitting in and listening to the feedback, they raise their hand and say, hey, where were you when I was in high school? Because I needed to have identified the path that I need to take in my life. So I ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Have you identified that career path that you know is your sweet spot? And I said, listen, I worked in human resources for over 3 decades, and I worked in every area within human resources. You name it, I've been a part of it. But it wasn't until I landed in learning and development that was my sweet spot. You know why? Remember I told you a story earlier? The servant leader? Because I was in a position to help individuals to identify and to help them to document their achievements, to establish goals at the beginning of the year, and then make sure that they were accomplishing their goals through development, through working with their manager, through being a part of a team, through strategic planning. And at the end of the year, they would have met those goals. Because many times when that happens, you have short-term incentives and you have your regular long-term incentive. Some are what? Short-term bonuses, and others could very well be your annual salary could increase. So they always call me, show me the money lady. That's right. Show me the money lady. Because I love being able to help individuals excel, become their personal best, do what they have a love to do it and do it well. So this assessment does the same thing. When I discovered this ability assessment, it was the gold mine that I was looking for. It was the diamond in the field. Yes, I looked at so many other different assessments, but I did not find another assessment that would help me help individuals to identify what they were already given at birth. Their natural, innate abilities are their God-given abilities. And once these individuals discovered it, I use the phrase, the sky is not the limit. And they never limited themselves once they understood who they are from their core, and they knew how to navigate a career. They knew how to select a degree. They knew what profession they were going to go into with clarity. And those who were going to be an entrepreneur, they even knew what business that they were going to pursue. That's right. Because when you know who you are from your core, you know how you make decisions, you know how you are a sequential thinker, you know how you are going to impact a team as a leader, and you know how to articulate and communicate who you are, no matter where you go and no matter who you're talking to. Show me the money. That's right. Show me the money, lady. I know Cuba Junior Goody, he used that show me the money. And I loved that when I saw the movie and I adopted it, show me the money, lady, because it never failed when individuals documented their goals at the beginning of the year. They clarified it with their managers. They knew then that they were on the right path in order to be accomplishing the goals that they had been given approval to move forward with. So project management, learning-based performance management, or process improvement, all those things are become a part of organizational development. And we also help individuals as well with it. So the sky is not the limit. So you just have to let us know what it is that you need, because we meet you exactly where you are. So if I get back to that assessment, you can be assessing yourself in life. This assessment is an assessment that you never have to take again. It follows you. So even with students in high school and going into college, we help them to identify what college degree that they're going to go for. I mean, I have a client right now who's going for her PhD, and she started with us when she was in her undergrad by clarifying the degree plan. And then from there, not only did she graduate with honors, but she went for her master's. And while she was going to college, listen, we call what is called our assignment search program that we put them through. And that assignment search program helps them to find the assignment that they're going to be employed by once they complete their degree plan. And out of 400 applicants, she was the one chosen for the position because not only did she know who she is from her core, but we also did resumes, we did interviewing, and we did mock interviewing. So she was well prepared. So as you can see, these tools that I'm giving you, the assessment is another one of them. You need to know who you are from your core at all times, not just some of the time. Because you need to be able to articulate and communicate on a drop of a dime, no matter where you are. When someone asks you, well, tell me something about yourself. It's not about you're the president of this or you're the manager of this, but instead, I tell them, listen, I'm a specialist. I love learning. And when I learn, I want to dive deep and become the subject matter expert. I'm a big picture thinker, but I also want it in sequential order. So you can give them some substance about yourself. Now, how awesome is this for a student to be able, when they're interviewed, to tell the interviewer things about themselves? Yes, you can tell them that you play a sports. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's even better when you can tell them how you make decisions and how you solve problems and how when you work with a team that you're a futuristic thinker. You know, your thoughts are maybe 10 or 15 years into the future. Or you could be a short-term thinker and you want immediate results. So that sales position that you're going for, it fits perfectly for someone who wants those immediate results. So that's why you want to use this assessment as one of the tools. So we have journaling. We have questioning. We have making sure that you have a mentor or a business coach. And then we have the assessment. Understanding yourself from your core. Even as a teenager, I had individuals would come to me and ask me questions. But because I hung and because I questioned individuals who were much older than myself, I knew many of the answers. Now, were they the answers for them? Heck no, because it depends. I always use that it depends when someone asks me questions, because many times I cannot give them a direct answer because it depends and there's so many other variables. And who's going to tell you all the variables when they tell you a situation or a concern? Do you? I know I might forget to leave out a few things. And so therefore, it's important that you understand it depends. That's right. And that it depends, when it comes to the assessment, it also comes to what I call a levelist mindset. A levelist mindset. Take all those levels, remove those levels. Stop putting yourself into a box. Expand. Allow the universe to direct you in the direction that you are meant to go into, because you were given those abilities when you were given the breath of life. Stop limiting yourself and stop allowing others to limit you. No, everyone is not going to like what I'm saying this evening, and I already know that. But those who it resonates with, those are the ones that I want to make sure that you reach out to me and you let me know how this has impacted your life, how this has caused you to think differently, how you're now writing strategies for yourself. I want you to take a moment right now. You have pen and paper in front of you. And I want you to write down one thing that you're going to start doing immediately because you were here, because you listened, because you paid attention, because this resonated with you, because you know it's time for you to walk the walk and talk the talk. It's time for you to be walking in your purpose. You've had time from January 2020 to present to evaluate what you need to be doing, how you need to be doing it, the way in which you need to do it, who you need to be communicating with, who you need to be building relationships with. I want you to write a vision for yourself right now. Envision where you see yourself going, accomplishing, the legacy that you intend to leave when you are no longer here, the life that you can touch right now, that you can make a difference in someone else's life. It's not always about what's in it for me, because the more you give, the more you will receive. The law of attraction is true. The universe will hear you. Don't hold back. Tomorrow never comes and is never promised. The next second is not promised. So that you can do right now, let's start doing it. Let's make it happen. Let's put some plans in place. So acknowledge what that vision is. And then I want you to write down what you already know about yourself. Your abilities that you know you have, that you can do in your sleep, that you've been doing. And if you're unsure, well, reach out to me for that assessment, that ability assessment, so we can help you to identify it, can discover it, or even confirm it. The assessments are for 14 years old, those who are students. We have a student assessment. Then we have the adult assessment for professionals, a personal assessment. And then we have leadership assessment, because you need to understand how you as an individual will impact others, will impact a team, will impact an organization, and will impact your entrepreneurship or the business that you create for yourself. You need to understand that. Now, how many assessments that you know does assessing abilities? We also have one for lawyers. Lawyers, why lawyers? Well, there's individuals who go into the legal and want to become a lawyer, but it's not always been on the debate side. It could be that you might be on the estate side. So what part of the legal system is going to work better for you based on your innate abilities? Yes, innate abilities. So we have a way of assessing all of this great information. I'm checking to see if we have any questions yet. Let's see. I see some coming in, but I'm trying to figure out let me see how I can see these questions. All right. But anyway, I see that. Let's see. All right. It's going good. It's going good. I see you all sharing. I love it. I love it. I love it. Don't forget to let me know what takeaway you're going to do and start doing it immediately. And here's the kicker. I want you to communicate with me, not only the takeaway, but what happened. Once you implemented, what were the results? Where were the achievements? I always say, drive your car. You had a challenge, you took actions, and what were the results of the actions that you took? That's right. So I want to know that. So who can tell me the 4 or 5 nuggets the tools that I just gave you? Who can tell me? All right, if you can tell me, write them down. I'm going to come back and look for them, and then you'll have an opportunity to get a strategy session with me. If you get all 5 of them, ta-da! How about you actually go through the ability assessment? That's right, ability assessment. So if you're unsure of who you are from your core, you get a chance to be assessed and know it. But you have to share it. You have to come on. You have to come on here with me, and you have to share not your results, but you have to share how it impacts you, and then what are you doing now that you know this information about yourself. So we've talked about Maxine, where she got her name from, that Pearl, servant leader in the community, the Maxine, the servant nurse. I love it. When I found that out about myself, all I could do was cheese, absolutely cheese, because it also helped me to understand more about me, about why my heart is the way it is, and why my heart is to help others become their personal best. Yes. So as we start winding down, I'm looking to see if I have any more any questions out here. So what I want you to do right now, I want you to think about a time that you felt that you were overlooked, that you were unappreciated, that you were undervalued, that you were overlooked for a promotion or to be on a particular committee or to represent the company or an association. I want you to think about a time. And as you think about that time, I want you to start writing some questions down for yourself. I want you to ask yourself, what could I do differently? How can I use the tools that Maxine just talked about? The journaling piece. How helpful would this be for you to start journaling your thoughts, journaling your ideas, journaling your creativity, innovation? Hey, I'm going to tell you, the individuals that I have been working with, I have had 10 to start their own businesses, become an entrepreneur. They wrote their ideas down. They started researching. They started observing. They started noticing that there was a situation that they could help individuals overcome. Oh, I never will forget this one school teacher who wanted to retire, and we put a plan in place. Well, no. When she came to me, her plan was to retire in 2 years. But once she had gone through the strategy session and we put the strategy in place, and she found herself achieving and accomplishing all the different phases that we have put in place, and researching, connecting, contacting the necessary associations and all the things that she needed to do to ensure that she would have her finances in place, her benefits in place, that she knew what she wanted to do after she retired. And guess what? She retired within 6 months. Within 6 months. But when she came to me, she had set aside 2 years to do it. But by having a strategy in place and understanding herself from her core, she was able to retire in 6 months. And she was one of the individuals who then started a business in order to help other teachers to retire, because she realized she did not know the steps. But now that she does know the steps, she was able to help others to start putting a strategy in place for themselves. That's what we do here at Leveless. We help you to put strategies in place that you can then use those strategies. And not only can it benefit you, but it can also benefit your family. It can benefit, and you can become an entrepreneur, and you can turn it into a business for yourself. The sky is not the limit. So there's no reason for you to limit yourself. That's right. That's a part of journaling. Now, you can go to our website on the levelessco.com, and it will allow you to receive an ebook on making journaling as part of your lifestyle. Free, complimentary. Type in your information and it'll come directly to your inbox. And also, remember we talked about assessment as a tool, and you can go to leveless.com/assessments and read about the assessment. There's also a brochure out there for you to understand all the different parts of the assessment. It looks at your personal, that introvert, extrovert, generalist, specialist, your long-term thinker, or a short-term thinker. It has all of that in it. It has career planning in it. What career path should you be looking at? We do not tell you what career to go into because you have options, and it depends. And then we look at your specialized abilities, which enhances your driving abilities, because your driving abilities are those that you're going to use. The driving abilities are those that are going to drive you into the profession, into the business, into the career path, into the degree plan that you can use and you must use no matter what. So this assessment is so powerful, and it's such a powerful tool. And it's been used for the last 15, 20 years that I can remember. I've used it for the 10 years that I have been in business, for thousands of people. And I use it for development teams, a team concept to help them to develop. Because as a leader, you want to know the makeup of the individuals on your team. You want to know if you have your long-term thinkers, your short-term thinkers, how people solve problems. Are they mathematical? Are they, engineering? Are they CPAs, numerical? You want to know that about your team members so that you can use their strengths, and you can assign them the different projects based on their strengths. And parents, you're going to want to have this assessment for your teenagers. That's right. Those 8th grader, 9th, and in high school, so they can begin to take electives based on what they are naturally gifted at doing. They have a love for it. They start excelling, and it moves them into what career path they're going to take, what degree plan they're going to go for. And even if it's a non-traditional, what trade are they going to acquire? What certifications do you need? I always come back to, how often do we ask the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? We probably start asking our kids that by the time they are 5. Remember, I told you, well, my parents asked me when I work with students, where were you when I was in high school? This assessment is so powerful. I had one young lady who came to me. She was already in marketing, but she still felt that she was not fulfilled in doing what she was doing. But after she had taken the assessment, it brought the clarity that she needed. The clarity that she needed that was really right there within her own household. Because her husband was already in business, but she was doing marketing for someone, for another company. But once she got that clarity about what she loved about marketing, Then she ended up working for her husband and absolutely loves it because she gets a chance to do all that innovation, all that creativity that she has a love to do. So see, this assessment can be confirming. It can be a discovery, and then it can help you to identify. So it depends on what it is that you need. And then don't forget the questioning as a tool. There's no right or wrong questions. And ask open-ended questions. Ask open-ended questions. So see, there's so many different things, these platinum nuggets that have been dropped this evening. You know, I talked about that they might go into a trade. See, right out of high school, I didn't go to college. I went to a trade school instead, and I acquired my certificate in tailoring. So I'm a certified master tailor. I make clothes for men, for bands. Yes, tailored clothing. It wasn't until after I had my children and my son was in the 3rd grade that I went to college. I actually started college then at the age of 33. And it took me 10 years, mind you. It took me 10 years to acquire that associate's degree, but with honors. But what happened in between is illnesses, deaths, full-time mom, full-time career woman, community leader. But I still accomplished it. And then I've gone on and acquired other degrees, other certifications, opened my business, and now I get a chance to talk to the world and share life strategies. I lost a husband during these last 10 years. On a Monday, I'm told I have no job. Tuesday, I close an office down. And Thursday, my husband dies. So see, you have to have a life strategy in place. Had I not had a strategy in place, I could have crawled under a rock. But instead, I knew my purpose. I knew my calling. I knew my ministry. And I'm here to share these life strategies with the world. I'm here to bring guests onto this platform that can also share strategies. You're not alone. And it's important that you understand you're not alone. So as I close this evening, I want you to reach out to me. I want to hear from you. I want you to let me know what strategies are you putting in place. What mentors have you selected? What business coaches are you calling and are you going to be talking to? I want you to share that with me. Any questions? I want you to let me know what questions you have. I want you to let me know what questions you have. I want you to put it in the chat box and let me know what you're going to take away this evening and start doing differently. I want you to let me know what those 5 nuggets that I just dropped this evening so that you can be the one that can receive that assessment at no charge. The only requirement is that you come back on and you share with the world as being a guest on this platform how it worked for you and how are you using it. That's right. So type in a question for me. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I want you to stay in touch. Join me at LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. I want you to connect with me there so that we can start building this community of women inspiring women, individuals inspiring individuals, community inspiring communities. So I want you to be able to let me know. All right. I love being here with you this evening. I love being able to talk with you about these life strategies, to share with you my life and how I am the levelless woman because of the trials and tribulations in which I've gone through. And I'm not alone, and I know this. And I'm able to share it with the world, but I want you to share it with me as well. Share with me on how you're doing. Share with me on the strategies that you're using. Share with me on the legacies that you're leaving. Share with me on who you chose as your mentor. Share with me how you chose them as your mentor. And share with me what goals have you put in place for yourself. Oh, this is just the second half of 2021. So if you didn't set goals for the first half, you can easily set goals for the second half. Tomorrow is not promised. It's important that you live today. It's important that you are happy at what you're doing. And it's so important that you believe in yourself. It's so important that you do not allow others to take your joy from you. You are in control. So stay in control. I tell you, it's nothing like being happy at what you're doing. It's nothing like finding fulfillment. It's nothing like making an impact, even if it's just on one life. Do it, and do it well. I'm so glad that you joined me this evening. I'll be back here next week at the same time. Come back, bring a friend, and be able to share with me what you're doing with the strategies we talked about this evening. So in the meantime and in between time, I'm going to bid you a farewell. I believe in you, and I'm looking for you to be levelless. Remove those levels. Don't let anyone stop you from achieving the things that you have set out for yourself. Take care.